Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour, held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description.
VVIX, we were talking about how it was cheap in the 80s and it doubled. So here we are. What basically, right? So I think in the one sense, on the one hand, we're back to 5,500, which I think is an interesting place for folks, a great spot to maybe pick like a July position. If you're nervous, you think this could go on, which it certainly is going to go on. We've just simply, I think what happened was we went from being completely disregarded, basically the team saying, listen, we don't care about stocks, to suddenly there's a chance they care. There's hope. There's hope that they care about stocks, that they care about things. And we did talk about
they care about the bond market, and the bond market broke last night. Just there's no question. It was a massive financial stress. They did do something today. I'm sure there were also dollar yuan. China did a little deval there to kind of buffer. The countries were involved in maintaining whatever they had for semblance. And it was also the midnight, the strike of midnight is when the 10-year hit 4.5 and then came back in. So
is that right? Yeah.
Well, that was capital rotation.
That was one of the biggest, I think, since 1982 or 1983, the biggest 3-day move in the long bond that we'd seen in a good 4 decades. So this was something. It was going to require something spectacular, and that's exactly what we got. Everyone thinks that the VIX at 50 is spectacular, and while it certainly isn't the norm, what you're talking about is really what happened, which is things starting to happen underneath the hood, where pistons are firing out of the side of the engine, and that becomes more of a problem, right? The Powell wasn't going to flinch for stocks going down. Trump wasn't going to flinch for stocks going down. But the best thing was when Trump came out and said, "I think you can buy stocks. They're fantastic buy down here."
That was not okay. That was market manipulation. That was not okay.
Prove it.
Jay McBurney is posting in chat that Goldman literally made a U.S. recession call 12:57 p.m. right before the 1 o'clock auction, and then minutes later rescinded it.
Did they really rescind it?
Back.
No kidding.
So the market, if you're in retail and you don't know what the F is going on, you are really, really not alone. But I have some really strong ideas, and I posted those until 2 a.m. last night. Big picture underneath the surface. Jeffrey and I are a classical economist who is absolutely brilliant on all things fixed income, and fixed income is the second largest market after currencies, so it kind of matters. Treasury is, of course, the biggest collateral, so we really do care about that market. Anyway, he has some very strong words about fixed income dangers. This short-term little save, or whatever you call it, where they get their execution is delayed. You know what I mean?
Stay of execution.
Yeah. Remember, I'm working on maybe 3 hours of sleep. This is a deal where this is going to come back. So we're in fiscal dominance. He could go on and on. This is not our show, is not about the macro backdrop. I did an entire hour this morning in my live trading room while the market was frozen. I did my macro rant of importance. And then I said, okay, now let's go talk tactical. So what we're doing now is trying to position tactically with an eye on option flow. And it's very, very important that I just say one thing before you dig into your charts, okay? This market is not at all in control by dealers. Market makers have no control over this. This is all macro. This is all fundamental. This is re-rating of earnings. This is macro event risk. This is tariffs on, tariffs off. This is, massive financial stress within the Treasury market and then beyond. This is yen carry trade. This is basis trade unwind. This is not a dealer show. When the market is consensus and going up, basically 80% of the time, dealers reign. They are the option, that they are the flea on the tail of the dog. Okay, but when we have correction territory on macro, this is where we have to totally focus, and why I have these guys on alert notification. Because whatever they say will then trigger the dealers and the algos and such. So just kind of keep that in mind. Right now, we can do our best to interpret option flow, but the reality is that we've got to pay attention to anything macro right now, especially Trump and Percent.
Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour, held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description. Watch the full Options Macro to Micro Power Hour episode by clicking on the video here, and subscribe to LaDucTrading YouTube channel for more content.